For centuries, Bethlehem was the beating heart of Christian Palestine, the largest Palestinian city with a Christian majority. A twin city to Jerusalem, the two cities making up a single economic, spiritual, and cultural metropolis. This was the reality under Ottoman, British, and Jordanian rule. In 1967, when Israel occupied the West Bank, that world was swept away. The first major blow to the Christian community came immediately. Israel conducted a census to register residents of Bethlehem. The residents who were abroad were denied the right to return. If your child was studying at a university abroad, they could not come home. If you were visiting family abroad, you could not come home. Your residency was revoked, and your property could be seized without compensation because you were an absentee owner. Israel effectively reduced the Christian population of Bethlehem by as much as 30% overnight. Having kicked out a large part of the Christian population, they began to displace the rest with massive illegal land confiscations and settlement construction. In 1996, Israel completed the Tunnels Highway Route 60, a bypass road connecting Jerusalem with settlements restricted to Israeli vehicles. Travel time for Israelis from Bethlehem to Jerusalem: 15 minutes. Palestinians could only access Jerusalem with rarely issued military permits, and even then, often spent up to 5 hours at checkpoints if they weren't arbitrarily refused entry altogether. The increasing oppression, land theft, and economic pressure resulted in a spontaneous mass uprising in 1987. Bethlehem residents engaged in nonviolent civil disobedience, boycotts, and strikes. Young people were in the streets, armed only with stones in confrontations with Israeli soldiers. Israeli Minister of Defense Yitzhak Rabin ordered the military to use force, might, and beatings to crush Palestinian resistance. This became known as the breaking bones policy. According to Save the Children, as many as 29,900 children required medical treatment. Thousands of children were treated in hospitals for fractures and serious injuries. Nearly a third of them were aged 10 or under. More than 6,500 Palestinian minors were wounded, and 281 were killed by Israeli gunfire. The most well-known case of nonviolent civil disobedience in the First Intifada happened in the town of Beit Sahour. Located at the edge of Bethlehem, on the site of the biblical Shepherd's Field, the town of 12,000 was about 80% Christian. The town's Christian and Muslim residents joined together and unanimously refused to pay taxes, declaring no taxation without representation. The Israeli response was brutal. The town was declared a military zone, the telephone lines cut, nothing allowed in, not food, journalists, or visitors. Residents were jailed and fined, bank accounts frozen. Finally, the military showed up with trucks, broke into people's homes, beat the residents, and carted off everything: appliances, beds, children's toys, cars. "We no longer fear anything," said shop owner Majdi, "because we are used to everything." With the town attracting more international attention every day, the Israelis finally gave up, ending a 6-week state of siege to the cheers of the Palestinian residents. "We won, we beat them," said Khalil Hanna Rishmawi, even though the machinery in his sewing factory was seized. "The campaign failed," he said. "No one paid the taxes." As the First Intifada subsided, a peace process was initiated that resulted in the Oslo Accords. The Accords installed the Palestinian Authority and a PA police force in Bethlehem, but its role was to prevent Palestinians from attacking Israelis. It was prohibited from preventing Israelis from attacking Palestinians. What was the point of a Palestinian security force that was forbidden from providing security to Palestinians? For Palestinians, the toothless and corrupt PA came to be seen as nothing more than capos in the Israeli prison that Bethlehem had become. It was not long before Palestinians once again rose up. The Second Intifada began like the first, but this time, when the violent crackdown came, the resistance escalated into a full-scale armed uprising with running gun battles, Qassam rocket attacks, and suicide bombings. In Bethlehem, advancing Israeli tanks and heavy machine guns converged on Manger Square. They fired on the Mosque of Omar opposite the Church of the Nativity and set it ablaze. Christian and Muslim Palestinian gunmen retreated into the sanctuary of the Church of the Nativity. Michel Sabbah, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem and the head of the Catholic Church in the region, said the gunmen had been given sanctuary, and that the basilica is a place of refuge for everybody, even fighters. For 39 days, snipers and tanks surrounded the birthplace of Christ. Israeli snipers fired into the church compound at anything that moved. 3 Palestinians were killed, including the church bell ringer. Many, including an Armenian monk and a priest, were wounded by Israeli fire. A Vatican representative stated, "The Holy See is shocked. The place where Christ was born is surrounded by tanks and snipers. This is a moral outrage." The Israelis tried to portray the clergy inside as hostages, a lie vehemently denied by the clergy themselves. Father Giacomo Bini, the Minister General of the Order of Friars Minor, stated, "I wish to firmly state that the friars and sisters of the religious community in Bethlehem cannot be considered as hostages. They have freely chosen to remain in that place, the custody of which has been entrusted to them by the Holy See, and which constitutes their home." Another oft-repeated Israeli lie blamed the Palestinians inside for the damage. The Christian clergy also refute this. Father Ibrahim Faltas, who was inside the church throughout the siege and was wounded by Israeli fire, stated that snipers were shooting through the windows and doors of the church compound. Soon after the end of the Church of the Nativity siege, the wall went up, cutting off Bethlehem completely from the surrounding communities. Bethlehem was once the vibrant beating heart of Christian Palestine. Today, it is an impoverished walled ghetto whose Christian population has plummeted from about 62% in 1966 to 10% today. Unemployment is 31%, and GDP collapsed by 28% in 2024. The economy, like the city, is dying, strangled by Israeli policies designed to kill it. Israelis peddle the lie that the Christians are leaving because of Muslim extremists. But we don't need Israelis to speak for Bethlehem's Christians, as they can speak for themselves. In a 2006 Zogby Bethlehem poll, 79% of the respondents cited the Israeli occupation as the reason for emigration. Another poll in 2006 put the number at 78%. As the former Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Michel Sabbah, said in 2014, "We are not fleeing Muslims. We are fleeing the Israeli occupation." Soon, Israel will succeed in completely extinguishing Christianity from the place of its birth. Will the world that venerates Bethlehem ever stand up for it? Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you would like to see more content like this.